Hi everybody. So today in this session we are going to discuss about that unit 12 from the human resource management. This unit talks about the human resource development system. Let me explain one by one. The first thing is the objectives, and second introduction, and third the concept of human resource development, and the fourth the need for HRD, and the fifth one is HRD functions, and sixth one is the human resource development system, and the seventh principles in designing human resource development systems, and last changing boundaries of human resource development. Before entering into this unit, what the development of human resource? See, as I already told it to you in the previous sessions, the previous slides. Once we recruit the candidate, we must provide that the selection and the placement and the training and the performance appraisal of the candidate. Once we must satisfy that performance appraisal of a particular employee, then such a person will be automatically promoted, and if not satisfied or else the employees are struggling to meet out the standards fixed by the organization, then a person should be degraded, that is called a demotion, and we can use it that transfer also. So up to this levels talks about the HRM. After that, we must analyze what are all the problems facing by the employees in our workplace, and we must understand that the development of human resource in our organization. From the organization side, what are all the things we must cover by way of improving the development of the human resource. If anything lacking, we are in a position to provide that proper training to the needed people. We must call that very good trainer from the external and as well as the internal sources, and offer a very good training program to that particular people. So everything we must analyze. Why? Because we must concentrate on the career of the particular employee, that is career development. Talks about the executive development or career development of the particular employee. So indirectly or directly, we are in a position to develop that the human resource in the workplace. So understand the concept of human resource development system and define the human resource development and appreciate the need for human resource development and list the various human resource development systems and describe the subsystems of human resource development and discuss the changing boundaries of HRD. So these are all the main objectives of this unit. Let me explain one by one. See the introduction. As I already told you, we must like that human resource in the workplace, because without the human resource, without the human involvement, the remaining resources are meaningless. There is no requirement, there is no word for that the remaining resources. So that human activity is only involved and integrating all that the managerial part of that particular business activities. There is no doubt in that. So what we should do in the human resource development, we are creating the system. That system definitely will safeguard that the career development of a particular employee and as well as that organizational development of a particular organization. So that career development of an employee gives that direct impact on that organizational development. There is no doubt in that. So this unit provides an understanding that concept of HRD system and what are all the related mechanisms and the changing boundaries of human resource development what we are following nowadays. The concept of human resource development. You can able to see that there is that importance in an organization. We must give that the people resource is the most valuable resource in the organization, because man only invented the remaining resources for the betterment of their life for the betterment of their other things. Clear? So that HRD talks about the development of human resources by way of getting and acquiring or sharpening the capabilities required to perform that the various functions associated with their present or expected future roles, and develop their general capabilities as individuals and discover and exploit their own inner potentials for their own or organizational development purpose, and develop an organizational culture in which supervisor-subordinate relationship, teamwork, and collaboration among subunits are strong and contribute to the professional well-being, motivation, and pride of employees. So this is the basic concept of human resource development, with the increased emphasis on creativity and autonomy which people are increasingly acquiring and enjoying in the society. The expectations of people are fast changing. So there is no doubt and all. And the need for HRD, the human resource development is needed by any organization that wants to be dynamic and growth oriented or to succeed in a fast changing environment. What you can able to understand from that, why it is needed and where it is needed. The first thing is we must adopt that new changes would come out, that new technologies. If we are bringing the new technologies, our employees should adapt that new technologies by way of learning that new skills, new talents, and the new competencies and other ways. So the personnel policies can bring that the very good morale and motivation to the employees to improve their next level. So that the employees also can able to sharpen their mind, they can acquire the many knowledges from the other sources, and the employees can enable that good organizational culture and development, and taking the risk and experiments innovative and making the things happen, that having and enabling that culture. And even an organization that has reached its limit of growth needs to adapt to the changing environment, and no organization is immune to the need for processes that help to acquire and increase its capabilities for stability and renewal. So these are the need for human resource development. And the next slide talks about the functions of human resource development. What are the main functions? The entire department and the entire organization should covered by the development, because the goals of human resource development are to develop the capabilities of each employee as an individual, and the capabilities of each individual in relation to his or her personal role, and the capabilities of each employee in relation to that expected future roles, and the dynamic relationship between that each employee and his or her supervisor, and the team spirit and functioning in every organization unit, particularly based on the departmental, based on the group, and the collaboration among different units of the organization, and then the organization's overall health and self-renewing capabilities within that, increasing that enabling capabilities of individual teams and the entire organization. And the developing dimensions of personnel functions, we must analyze that the task analysis of an individual and perform the key performance areas in all the level, and then the critical attributes of a particular functionalities, and making that job evaluation in a very good manner, because in that the unit 1 we discussed about all those things. We must analyze the job, we must find that fixing the roles and responsibilities to the individual, and fixing that minimum acceptable human qualities to adapt the new changes or bringing the new changes into that changing environment. So we must learn that the particular concept by way of analyzing that very good roles and responsibilities, and matching the role and the person, select or recruit the candidate in a very good manner, and place the candidate into the right place, and appraise in the potential and as well as the performance appraisal of a particular people, and promote the people into the next level, and the career development and the career and the succession planning of a particular people. And the third is developing the persons in the role, the performance appraisal, feedback and counseling, mentoring, career development, training. So these are all the development and the dimensions of the personal functions, and the developing the role for the person. So the job rotation. So best example, the banking jobs, right? For example, a manager holding that or else taking that leave on a particular day, we can't stop the entire functions of a particular bank because the customer is not ready to wait the outside of the bank. So we need to provide that service to the customer. Someone else should take that responsibilities on behalf of that the particular bank manager. One fellow taking that personal loan, another fellow taking that or concentrating that home loan. So we must know the differentiation between these two ends, right? So whatever it is, we must perform in a very good manner by way of redesigning and making that job enrichment into the next level. And role effectiveness and efficacy. So as I already told you, effectiveness and the efficiency talks about the quality and as well as the quantitative terms. So develop that role of for the persons in the next level. And developing the equitability, all must fix that equal salaries, wages, amenities, incentives, awards, rewards, bonus, whatever it is. So equally treat that fair treatment of the employees that will be the good. And developing self-renewing capabilities, sending that or presenting that very good communication method and organization development and the learning process and developing culture and climate and everything else. So that human resource development system, what the system talks about that individuals and collectives and the organization. So it talks about the self and the immediate boss, the HR department and the organizations. So we'll see that the elements in the cells of the various development aspects. The HRD system caters to all the human resource units of the organization and all concerned are involving in running the system. The principles in designing human resource development system. The HRD system must be designed differently for the different organizations. Once we must focus on that particular system, definitely that will be more helpful to the growing organization and as well as the future organization. So focus on that the capabilities of an individual and balancing that adoption and change in that organizational culture, attention to the contextual factors. What are the contextual factors here? We are concentrating on the division and subdivision of that particular people and building linkage with other functions. Whatever it is, we must see that. And balancing the specialization and diffusion of the functions and other areas. And structure of the system. Establishing that identity of human resource development, ensuring that respectability for the function and balancing differentiation and integration. So this structure talks about the step-by-step process which is involved in the human resource development system. First we must concentrate on the development of individual employee, and we are having and looking about that the group from the lower level into that very high level. And balancing the differentiation and integration in the development functions often includes the personnel administration, human resource development and training, and industrial relations. So these three functions having the distinct identities or requirements and should be differentiated within the human resource development department. And establishing linkage mechanisms. The HRD has linkages with outside system as well as with the internal subsystem. It is wise to establish that special linkages to be used to manage the system, and some standing committees are to be prepared and formed by way of attaining that objectives of the business and as well as the organization. Some task force and other committee formulated for useful mechanisms. And developing that monitoring mechanisms, the HRD system and as well as the functions is always evolving. It therefore requires systematic monitoring to review the progress and level of effectiveness of the system and to plan for its next step. The functioning of the system, building feedback and reinforcing mechanisms, balancing quantitative and as well as the qualitative decisions, balancing internal and external expertise, and planning for the evaluation of human resource development. The changing boundaries of human resource development. What are the changing boundaries? Reorganization and the restructuring, It includes the downsizing concept and as well as the flattering in the structure and outsourcing, etc. And sometimes talks about that managing that mergers and acquisition by changing that human resource policies, realigning, redrafting, and HR policies and practices. And the third thing is initiating and managing the quality initiatives, particularly concentrating on the quality circle, the Deming wheel circle, and as well as that qualitative parameter in all the levels. And ISO certifications are also required and needed. And conducting a variety of surveys. We must survey that employees job satisfaction survey and climate survey and internal customer satisfaction survey and benchmarking with the competitors and others globally and restructuring salary and reward system through compensation surveys, introduction of stock options, performance linked pay or pay for performance compensation planning, everything else. Enhanced emphasis on recruitment or placement with the recognition of the need for competent people, the new economy industries like the IT, telecom, financial services, insurance, BPO, and so on. So introducing the new technologies for the training completely talks about the e-training program. Nowadays, a number of e-learning platforms are available, online educations are available, distance learning is available, off-campus learning is available, and all the technologies for learning. Financial incentives for excellent performance. Whatever it is, we must encourage the human being into the next level. So higher than the average wages, plans of employee share of ownership, extensive information sharing, and decentralized of decision making and empowerment, self-managing teams, having people do multiple jobs and job rotation, elimination of status symbols, promotion from within, and the long-term perspectives and other ways. So these are all the HR practices we must follow in the particular units, right? So once again, I'm going to brief about what we have discussed in this unit. So just see that we discussed about the objectives and then the introduction and the concept of human resource development and the need for HRD and the HRD functions, the HRD systems and the principles in designing that human resource development system and the changing boundaries of human resource development process. So the remaining things we will discuss that unit 13 in the next session. Thank you.